Good afternoon. My name is Edward Wemitowa. I am from the pueblo of Ashui, SUNY, New Mexico, United States of America. I live in a pueblo where our life and our culture is much around our indigenous culture. And one of the things that we're dealing with in this date and time is defining where the fine line is, whether we're going to continue to be indigenous people or whether we're going to transition into more of a government. In fact, we're verging on getting involved in some of the Protestant and Catholic attitudes. 5 years ago, there was really a rude awakening when I was elected as a tribal councilman. One of the, unfortunate things was that I was forced to bow to an oath of office that was going to be administered by a Catholic oath. And it was very personal for me to take a stand not to bow to a Catholic oath, because I support the traditional community. I support a traditional leadership that is very old, it's deep rooted in the landscape and just the way that we live as Ashui. When I had to address this decision, I chose to stand for my traditional religious leaders, the rain priest societies. Because if I had taken the vow to take the Catholic oath, I would have been removing the traditional leadership. And so I think with many of our indigenous leaders within our pueblo, I think they're really unclear what the true sovereign nation is. We have to understand that if we're going to talk about sovereignty, we have to say, are we going to be totally going for the U.S. governmental constitution, or are we going to stand by and support a constitution that recognizes the inherent rights of indigenous peoples? In other words, our sovereign nation. And so being here at this continental summit here in San Cristobal de las Casas, Mexico, it's important for me to understand how other indigenous peoples feel. Indigenous nations from South America, from Central America, and even voices from North America and Canada. And so by sharing our ideas, sharing our concerns, our feelings, and our understanding about sovereignty as indigenous nations, we can't help but have to go back to the root of these issues, which is defined in the doctrine of discoveries. And so by making sure that we look at this global, this international issue, we have to go back and send a message to Pope Francisco. Out here they would say Papa Francisco. So I think the message has to be sent there to help us remedy the problems that we feel as indigenous nations, which is to dismantle the doctrine of discovery. And so it's very important for me to be here, and I was so honored to have been invited. And so my message is that we support the proposals to dismantle doctrine of discovery and to send a message to Pope Francis. Thank you.